Hmm. Welcome, everyone. I see Vedanta waving her hand. And welcome, Vedanta. Anything that you'd like to speak? Oh, thank you for taking a moment. Hmm. Yeah. Rajma.
Isaac, it's sometimes just a bit too much. I feel to yeah, like a new lockdown here with schools closed and everything. And I see I get carried a bit overwhelmed and then away from the center and being a bit late on the internet, having to bring kids to school, and it's all just a bit. There's no real problem. It's just this feeling of
I understand, yeah.
you can't do anything, and you want to wake them up or let them know, and that's. And at the same time, I had a beautiful activation through Eva because of the eclipse yesterday. Beautiful yoga happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it I think mankind has gone through, you know, so many times when things are going on in the world that are absolutely
Mm.
an expression of, I mean, of that the same thing, you know, but it's just so, it's like coming through, you know, a filter of fear and control and everything. And then when, you know, it's like it touches um, being in that field, but also then it's like, you know, it's like how to remain at peace for one thing, because that's the biggest contribution you can make. It's not always easy
Yeah.
when you sense that, you know, freedoms are being taken away and not in a way that's clear,
Mm.
and then to know how to act. It's strong times. It's really strong times.
Yeah, and maybe it touches a bit more personal in the sense of speaking up. It's been
Yeah, oh, for sure.
my
That would
thing
be,
to
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, you know, just historically, the people that spoke up usually didn't survive that long.
Mm, mm,
Or, but but at the same time, So, there's a lot of impetus not to speak up in our gene pool, but yeah, something, yeah. I don't think there's a right way or wrong way or anything. It's just this, wow, how to surf these what's going on in the world in a way that's in your own integrity, not in anybody else's idea of how it should be. Or it's. I really get it. Not easy.
I feel my body getting warm now.
Oh, good.
Joy coming in.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's always so crazy is, to recognize that which is breathing us all, living us all, is expressing also in this funny way. It's just like yeah. And then classically you get like when Krishna said, "Listen, we have to go to war, because if we don't, this is what will happen." And Arjuna was, "No, but these are my uncles and cousins." And it's just this funny play that's been going on for millennia. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm happy I contacted, or I put my head was being put up.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's funny, but to me, it's just on this is when somehow, like, it goes into a split in ourselves where, like, it goes into judgment or making wrong or something like that, rather than just discernment, which goes, look, I can see this doesn't make sense, or something like that. So that the difference between discernment and judgment is actually quite big. And then, like we've been exploring here, the sense of I that seems to have doership, and we project that someone could do differently than they're doing, and looking deeply, that love doesn't say no or stop or really, yeah, but without the price of going into a split in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. To discernment and judgment. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks to the field also.
Yeah. We've never met. You have a really clear presence. It's lovely to feel you.
Isaac?
Jakob raised his hand, and then Brigitte, I'll come to you afterwards.
Yeah.
Jakob.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, life is.
Long time no see.
Yeah. You still in India?
Yes, but in Tiruvannamalai.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I felt like meeting again.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, greetings.
Set common law.
Let's turn that off. I don't know how to do that. Somehow that. Sorry about that.
How does this meeting work? Is it possible to put it in words?
Sorry, I didn't hear all the words that
Um,
you spoke. That's better.
How does it work, this meeting, this phenomena? I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, it's like in resting together, it's like our mirror neurons start to kind of map each other and track each other. So we kind of, that's how we feel each other, is through those mirror neurons. And so when we rest together, it's like the whole universe appears to us through our senses. But so we basically, there's information that we receive through our senses, but usually that gets interpreted through our conditioning and through our trauma and all. And it's so familiar, that interpretation, you could say, that we don't even notice it. There's a sense of what we perceive, not recognizing it's actually a waking dream in a way, because it's an interpretation. And when we rest together, it's like, it seems like somehow some of that interpretation starts to become seen or recognized, and there's just a deeper interest in simply resting and not engaging in the interpretation or the sense of I that arises from that interpretation. So I don't know if that's too many words, but yeah. So to me, how it seems is that if our whole life we've always lived in an interpretation and didn't even realize it, and then a moment happens where we suddenly come into a recognition of what's deeper than any interpretation, that in which every interpretation is arising in, something changes. We taste another possibility that's actually always been here, but that we just never noticed, so to speak.
So is it the same thing like when I'm in company with an angry person, so I became angry, and now I'm in company with you, then the system is getting
Yeah.
clear?
It's not necessary that if you're in company with an angry person that anger comes up. It depends on what it vibrates in you.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's, you could say, an expression of life that's touched in a way that is expressing anger and it's projected, something can just see it and just be present with it and not go into any story with it. And sometimes it goes into a war, basically, or a fear or fight, flight, or freeze, something, where it becomes a dance. But so when we rest like this, there's a reasonable possibility of dropping into what's beyond the whole movie and getting a direct experience of that, which is incredible, incredibly fortunate.
I noticed a slight difference when I speak to you, or I'm only a spectator when you speak to someone else, or there's no need to go into it.
Yeah, it's a deep observation. Inherent in awareness is this capacity to make very subtle distinctions. So and as those distinctions happen, it's like a fine-tuning, you know, it's like it opens up. Yeah. Like just while we're resting here, there's lots of subtleties going on, yeah? I think you can sense it and feel it. And so it's a funny thing to speak because it's like, in a way, there's like a refinement, and who you are is what you've always been, but yeah.
So this process is also only just the world, right? The dream.
You can say it like that it's like, in one sense, you can say there's absolutely nothing going on in it. In another, there's our lives, yeah, where there's learning happening, you could say like that. So there's like learning that happens, you know, like learning to play an instrument, learning to be in life in a way that expresses as unconditional love. So years ago already, I was talking to somebody else that holds meetings, and he was saying awareness is awareness; it never deepens. And I was saying to him, that's not my experience. It's like there's the recognition of awareness, but as there's a love affair with that, there's these mechanisms that have consumed life energy that get seen and fall away, and there is a sense of it deepening. And anyway, we couldn't come to common ground, but a couple of years later, I went to one of the last times I saw Papaji. When I met him, I looked at him and I said, I don't know if it's just my eyes, but it seems like there's been a huge deepening in you. And he looked at me and he said, of course it's deepening, otherwise it would be limited. And so it's just, So that's beyond the whole game. It's beyond everything. And then as life lives itself, as life is happening, you could say, can be. I think in most expressions of life, there's old information at the moment, and as that gets seen, there's a sense of deepening. So see if that resonates with you or not. It's just say that's how it looks here.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, yeah, and I mean it is where there's been a deep recognition of our true nature, and then brushing everything else off as just a dream and doesn't need any attention, so to speak. And then for me, like the capacity to inquire as a love affair, not to get anywhere, as I would say, it's as a pure love affair. Every time there's a movement where that carries something other than just unconditional love. And it's, to my sense, it's not out of getting anywhere at all. It's out of the recognition that as those little movements get seen and come to peace, it actually benefits all beings everywhere. So. for me, from last time we spoke till now, feels like something has shifted in you. I don't know if you sense that or feel that, or you describe it that way.
Yeah, but it, my perception is changing all the time. So I don't know which one you. Yeah, it's like it's gradual. It's still going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perception is always changing. No doubt. Yeah. I mean, to speak it so simply, like there's awareness, which is always here. And then there's the field of information that we call the universe. It's just information, ultimately. It's just different frequencies of information. And then there's our habit of attention, which is, where and how our attention focuses. And that is what changes. It's not, the field of information is just information. It's just awareness is awareness. It's, but that interplay, like, that's what changes and deepens and
Yeah, I had a couple of weeks back pain on my chest, and I was on the way to hospital, and I was afraid of my life. And when I looked, um, and I could see that I cannot die. Like there is something that is still here. That I noticed a little shift there. Like the mind still gets clouded, then again clear, then again clouded. Like this.
in your unknowing, when you say the mind gets clouded, just really explore what actually happens.
It's an identification.
Okay, so
Happens.
let's slow that. Who is the identifier and what is identification?
It's a thought. Like a spell. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to try and just slow it down enough that we can see what happens there. To me, the way I look at identification is an automatic unconscious movement that nobody does, but in which a sense of someone arises. And it just consists of a shift of attention, basically. Attention follows a thought or a feeling or a position or something. In that movement, there's a sense of I. What does that movement have to do with awareness? As far as I can see, nothing. It's just a residue of generations of old habits, yeah. And when it's seen, it liberates. It's amazing.
It's funny, really.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brigitte.
Hey, Isaac. Good to see you. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfect, and I feel you, and I see you.
Good. Anything else?
And I see a piece of art behind you. Is
Yeah.
that you?
No,
Oh, nice. It's
no,
beautiful.
but it could have been in my younger years.
Could have been. Yeah.
But not with the long hair because I never had long hair.
Okay.
No. I wanted to thank you for all the things that are revealing in this being with you in the meetings.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And especially the retreats, which is revealed quite a big piece for me.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, I was very closed off, and that's the thing I'm running into, is that I wanted to bring in to say into awareness. Where in the first 2 years of my life, I was very isolated, not being held, say as a baby, not being comforted, and actually disappeared. And that's what I normally we could look at as that emptiness, as something outside of me in the retreat. And after the retreat, I could feel it as how that is actually so interwoven in this system that it drains up a lot of how do you say it? It drains a lot of my energy.
I understand.
And of my say capacity to come out into the world with what I truly am, because it's like a box, a frozen, or no, it's not a box because it's very spacious but very empty. And it's like I constantly am drawn into it without even that I can consciously feel what is how it happens. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, so what seems worth inquiring into, it's like, you know, all experiences come and go. I mean, I think we know that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but it's like, so when you started speaking, or when speaking started to happen, it spoke about, I feel very closed off. And so, like, there's ways of speaking about the same thing, but different perspectives. So one would be, I feel very closed off. Another would be, wow, I notice that something's going on where there's this felt sense of being closed off.
Yes.
And so the same phenomena is happening, but it's being reported either through a sense of identification or through a recognition. Oh, there's just something happening. Nobody's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's curious. It's like, wow, there's an interest. When we report it from the perspective of, I feel closed off, what usually happens, and you can see if it is like the intelligence then wants to change it or fix it or understand it or do something with it. Just from seeing it that way.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happens is, like, the inquiry is coming, it's happening through an agenda. And so it's not a true inquiry because it has an idea of where it needs to get to. And so the inquiry is tainted in a certain way. It's not just, oh, curious, something is happening unconsciously, nobody's doing it. It's clear, really interested in how that functions, you know, and it's like, so it's quite a different inquiry. So
I fully understand. I can feel
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah. So that's part of the learning, I guess, you know. It's like, because, you know, we've had years of, you know, like fine-tuning and starting to recognize, you know, at first, you know, there might not even be a recognition of closing off. That's just natural, and that's just how life is, and there's nothing that goes away the second something happened that is different than, yeah. So, you know, it's just like the inquiry gets finer and deeper. And so, you know, it's like, yes, and, you know, we do carry information from our childhood, from the womb, from our ancestry, many generations back. And, you know, as our systems, you know, become quieter, like more of those subtleties actually start to become apparent and seen. And then there's the energy that's been tied up in them, so to speak, releases in this.
Mhm.
But it's not from working on anything, it's just out of this really fine discernment that starts to mature. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's the value when we kind of meet together, because you know our usual habits are so familiar to us, we don't even notice. That's the thing. But if someone points to it, and okay, yes, I get it, I see it,
Yeah.
I of course recognize it.
Yeah, I can immediately feel when you're talking about it how it's changing in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of brain changes in the retreat, and you can see how my inquiry is still an attempt to control the way I phrase it.
Yeah, and that's beautiful to see. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's like, oh
No,
wow,
but it's I can
it before.
I find it humorful. That's
Yeah, of course,
I think it's
course.
intelligent,
How
but it's
beautiful.
quite
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, and that's also part of the meeting is like, you know, we imprinted of our parents, and our nervous system learned certain imprinting, you know, whilst you were in the womb and also the early years.
Mhm.
And so then to come into a field where we can literally download different information is incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
The layer that I'm feeling right now is um, is where the experiences of life gave a mistrust,
Yeah.
and now to trust this unfolding is quite a step for the system.
Yeah. So, you know, one thing in a noticing of that, where there's, you could say, an habitual mistrust. I mean, it's really fine noticing, you know, because I look through that filter and don't even notice that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, so once there's that noticing of it, then in the moment you check and see, okay, like somehow there's a trusting this mistrust to protect me or look after me or something like that. And then just to check and see, because that's an old information.
Very old.
And then just checking, is it still useful in this moment? Just checking, not trying to change it or fixing, but just checking.
No,
That,
I did that. That's
yeah,
and I came to the conclusion it's not necessary in this
yeah.
moment.
And so in my experience, that inquiry might have to happen quite a few times if it's been a long-standing habit. But it's beautiful. Every time it's inquired into, is it useful right now? and you can see it's not. Gently, like you're reestablishing trust with your own knowing rather than with the program. So it's
I must
baby
say,
steps.
it's triggered a lot, of course, due to all the Corona circus happening, with all the mistrust of information that is being handed to us by official.
Yeah.
And in
But you
Holland has
see,
gone into a total lockdown since yesterday, so I have to close my practice now again.
yeah. So this thing of, to me, when I look at the information,
Sorry, yeah.
yeah. So when I look at the information, it's, to me, it doesn't register as I don't trust it. I just recognize that it's not true.
Yes.
So it's like that. So, it's not, it doesn't throw me into, I just see that there's, like, there's a, how we function as a species is interesting, yeah?
Mm.
You get all these, like, it's like all these different expressions playing different functions and taking their function very seriously and believing in their function and all that stuff. And from within that, there is zero choice about how functioning happens. It just functions automatically and consciously, usually from a very narrow bandwidth.
Mm-hmm. That really struck a chord when you say not true information.
Yeah, it's false. It's false information.
Yeah, and it's the same. Like I always knew that the information I got from my mother was not true,
Yeah, that's all.
and that I knew I was a beautiful being.
Yeah,
Although I
exactly.
got other information and
Yeah, yeah,
upbringing,
yeah.
but I really felt that. I think you feel it. The love in that.
Mm. And it's, it's so interesting just to see how, like when I'm talking with someone who gets all the information from mainstream news, I see that they've been brainwashed, literally.
Mm.
And I can see it's absolutely pointless to try and say anything
Mm-hmm.
because it can only go in the direction of an argument that doesn't serve anything. And I just see that they're getting the information from a different source. So,
I think that is true.
and believe that it's true.
Yeah.
And the thing with beliefs are, like once was, playing with defining belief, and it's like I said, belief is an idea that's held to be true,
Mm-hmm.
that has a strong emotional investment that we're willing to kill or die for. Like I'm Dutch and you German, or something like that, or I'm anything,
Yeah.
It's like it's a belief and with that, it's got that twist that we're willing to kill or die for it.
Incredible, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an idea that's held to be true, and there's no, wow, you just,
Yeah, I have to laugh at myself when during the press conference last night, that I wanted to at least thought of killing the prime minister.
Yeah, I
All
understand.
many problems.
Yeah, I understand it. It touches that. It's like certain, like you could say, an expression of ignorance can touch that sense of existential
Yeah,
happening in us, which moves into fight, flight, or freeze,
yeah,
kill, run away, or
I know.
can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should cut this piece out of the tape, because otherwise I can have the police at my door.
Yeah. No, you're just speaking about a thought. I mean, people have thoughts, and they
Yeah,
know the difference between acting on a thought or
I
not.
know. I know.
But it is crazy times. It's true. Someone could hear it and go, "Wow."
Yeah, you see that all the time here. How the police is now checking on people coming at the doorstep.
Yeah.
You know what is so incredibly intense is that I can feel this love is here. It's not budging. It's not doing anything. It's not.
Mm.
It's so fundamental. It's not even a good word for it. Yeah.
In some traditions, there was a recognition that that was the function of the elders, was to be that love as as what holds any action or any movement or whatever.
Mm,
We saw that at Standing Rock, which was so beautiful, to me. Anyway.
yeah. And I do think we have that function as elders. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like,
Not only
I
elders,
wouldn't
but I
even
mean
call it a
in general.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's like it opens up and it's seen that fundamental love and then it's like, wow. For that, it's here for that, whatever.
Mm, yes.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Isaac.
Oh, thank you. Just beautiful.
A virtual hug for you.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Liliana.
I I just want to thank you so much. A lot of deepenings happened, and some things would trigger me quite easily, and there's so much calm, and yeah, I'm very grateful. And Yeah.
Wonderful.
Many, many thanks. That was very beautiful. Amazing expansion. Thank you.
It's very, very welcome. Okay.
Isaac?
Sylvie.
Yes,
Okay.
Hannah would like to sit with you. Hannah.
Who's it?
Can you wave, Hannah?
Hannah. Okay, let me. Great. Welcome, Hannah.
Hello, good morning.
I see you.
Or good evening, I guess.
Hi. Yeah, evening here.
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for letting me ask a question. Well, first of all, I don't really know what I'm doing here, and this is already kind of part of my question. Because I was actually going to do just get some work done on my laptop, and then something just made me go to your web page, and I remembered that you had this Zoom meeting, and I just clicked. Happy to be here, which, yeah. It's like I'm actually trying to to understand or to deep my understanding, what is it that is actually acting when I'm acting? Like, what is the drive when I'm acting? Is it this longing of a soul, let's say, that wants to sit with you and ask a question or just be in your present? Or is it just another idea of the mind? Or let's be a bit spiritual on this Tuesday morning and let's just go to a satsang. So you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
and the other thing is like I not constantly, it's not that I'm like always busy with questions, but if I sit down and try to inquire like who is actually acting or what is acting, and it also comes to this question of free will. So like how much do I, and I know that I is however you want to define it. It's like how can, like who is deciding, do I want to sit here in the satsang now or in this talk now, or do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to do some other work? Do I want to get some work done, which could also be, let's say, very spiritual, or just could be a longing of the soul. It's like I could just read a book about plants, because maybe my soul wants to learn and express something in this world about plants, let's say. So sometimes I have the feeling I don't even know why I want to move at all, because I think I can sit with this awareness, just be and try to see who is observing, what is observed, what is the mind that is playing its games. I could just sit here and observe, and on the other side, there are so many things that I want to do, and I just don't really know. Sometimes I think this is my question. Sometimes I don't know if the things that I want to do and that I want to express are still acts that I'm doing because of the conditioning, or like, yeah, just because I'm used to do a lot and to work a lot, or if it's really just, let's say, this consciousness or this awareness, my soul that wants to participate in a certain way in this world. You know what I mean? It's a bit...
Would it be okay to sit quietly just for a moment or two and then see what words come out of that? Yeah, sometimes just sitting quietly, the question answers itself. So, yeah.
Yes.
As we rest here together, how do you sense or perceive the invitation that's coming through me? How do you feel it, or how do you sense it?
can feel some energies moving that are probably contracted, like on a physical level, let's say.
Level, yeah. So you notice that happening, yeah. And the invitation itself, how do you sense it? Is it gentle? Does it want something from you? Is it looking?
No, it's just
No. Okay, yeah. And then you just watch how your system somehow responds to that invitation, yeah? Yeah, without any doing whatsoever, just by itself, yeah?
yes.
So thoughts come and go. Questions come and go. And somehow, like there's an idea that maybe a question, if we get the question answered, that it can assist us in some way. Yeah. Yeah. And it's no problem. It's just to see, it's like, sometimes it's true. It's on a practice, you don't know where something is. You ask someone and they can point you. It's fantastic, yeah. So just as we're resting, yeah, things are changing. I don't know if you can just feel just how these systems meet each other. And again, without any doing, without any trying to make anything happen, just resting. So, it's clear from the way speaking happens that this has been a big interest of yours, and it's been pursued in various ways. It's clear. But then we just taking a moment here, just resting together. And if it's possible to answer not from anything you've read or heard from anyone, but directly as we're resting here, the activity that we call the body, doing its dance, trillions of cells, trillions, a lot of it not human, bacteria, fungi, and viruses, and all kinds of stuff, all kind of doing its dance. There's like different thoughts that come and go. Experiences changing moment by moment by moment. So we're just looking fresh at that deepest question, who are you? But now speaking directly from here, not from anything you've read or heard. So the thoughts that you've had about yourself, you're clearly not those. Those are just thoughts, the ideas you've had, not you. So speak from the depths of your own knowing in this moment. Yeah. So this is not about becoming anything or getting anywhere. It's just about seeing, yeah, who you are, always have been. Body's having a strong response, huh? Yeah. It's okay.
I guess I so much wanted to have an answer. And just
Yeah.
before I would try to speak out, it would just sound ridiculous. Not for the
Yeah.
not for the audience, just.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Because who you are, you cannot speak it. You know, like the mind cannot grasp it. A thought cannot grasp that. It's beyond thought. So the silence really is the best answer. Now, that which you are, whatever that is, that you can't say, the personality that's formed through the family you were born into, the culture you were born into, that's not who you are. It's just a way of functioning within a certain context, or within a certain, has nothing to do with you. It's just. So you ask the question is like, who decides, or what decides, or how does life happen? Yeah? Is there something separate than this great intelligence that is separate to it, that decides? Or from here, just to look for yourself and see, is there something separate that, like, you know, this finger, does it move independent of this great intelligence? Does it have a mind of its own that's deciding to do this?
Well, I can definitely tell, or like even sense that, like irrespective of knowing where the movement is coming from, let's say from your finger, it is part of a bigger happening. So this is not just something that from my mind. So I can
Exactly.
And
You
I would
know it. You know it.
I just know it, and I would also say in the end, if I move my finger or if I don't, in the end, both is fine. It's not gonna
make any difference to anything. Yeah.
In the end, it might make a difference, but in the end, it does not make a difference.
Yeah.
I guess, like combining this question with what you just said before, so my mind is a bit. It's like I know it's not so much about what I do or not do. It's more about just seeing the bigger picture. So I'm really trying to not to make it, not to take it too seriously, you know, if I'm doing this. Like
so this effort that's happening,
yes,
is whatever that effort is, just from here, just resting, you're noticing that an effort happening. Honoring it, it's not right, it's not wrong, just noticing that there's an effort happening. And resting. Just noticing the effort. Sensing, okay, that effort is an expression of what, where's it coming from, who's doing it. When you look like this, what's the basis for that effort?
I didn't hear the last sentence. What is?
Yeah. What's the basis for that effort?
At the moment, there is absolutely no effort.
One more time?
At the moment, there is absolutely no effort. So
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I think the point where I always get a bit stuck, probably in an idea, is I was at a point where I was like, okay, let's just rest. Let's just put all the teachings away for some time. You know, don't read the books, don't go to satsangs. Just just be. Just everything is good. But then the longing to go back and to understand and be in that presence would
So
take.
now, okay, so here we are.
Yes.
Okay, and we are this presence.
Yes.
And then, unbelievably, this longing arises within this presence. Yeah. Amazing, huh?
I think this is the point. I just don't know what this longing actually wants, because on the one side, it's already there. I don't have to do anything. It's always there. And if I don't, nothing's going to happen.
And the question, is what we exploring here a teaching?
Well, in the broadest sense, it's not a teaching. It is a teaching. It's a being, a way of being. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
this yearning, this longing,
this school, like I say, teaching, I just refer to everything that is giving me.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but now we're just discerning a little bit, teaching and just inquiring together, yeah? Looking for yourself. So we hear no effort, or maybe some effort creeps in, something, a movement happens. And this yearning arises. And the mind is, our thinking wants to know what are we yearning for, yeah? But it can never know, yeah? It's like a yearning If you have to describe the yearning pure, just the yearning, just the pure yearning. How would you describe? This is a problem. No, not at all. Yeah. As we rest here, is there a boundary between us? No boundary. Oh, okay. Yeah. What is your work that you do?
I stopped working as a lawyer like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking a pause for inquiry, let's say.
Okay. And where are you at the moment?
Austria.
Hmm?
In Austria.
In Austria. Okay. Well.
Yeah, yes, Austria.
Hmm. And amazing. From Austria, you can just click and suddenly we can be talking.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Corona is fantastic in that sense.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know if
Yeah.
you've done this before, but I think it opens many Zoom meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. And so just resting here again. Let's see, and just from this resting, see if there's any question left that hasn't been fully answered. It's an opportunity to ask anything. Just see if there's any question that has not been answered. So.
Well, my mind obviously has many questions, and they're not even the worst ones. It's not even, I mean, it's questions of the mind, but it's not like.
Wow, fantastic.
It's still interesting questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can sense that the answer, well, I know that probably even if I got the answer to those questions that are here, they would probably not really change that much in my perception in that moment.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But feel free to ask any question. It can be a mental question.
Any?
Anything. Anything.
How do I get to that state, let's say, or that presence?
I didn't hear the question fully. So can you say it one more time?
How can I get and actually stay in that presence, that any kind of question asking of who I really am would still
Okay.
this question of who am I know it could never be answered, but I wonder what I could do, which is not a good word, to get to a state where this question disappears completely.
Yeah, beautiful question, yeah? So then, who is it that would do something?
Well, the doing is more the Hana part, like the earth.
Yeah, and what is that? Is it an entity? Is it someone? Or does that, what you call Hana, does that have any independent volition.
No, of course not. No, it,
So who would do it? You can see it's a mental construct. Yeah, and it wants to help.
yes.
And the question is, can it help?
The way I perceive it, that might be wrong, that this question of who am I has two layers. There's obviously the Hannah that would like to know because she, in general, she likes to know everything and she likes to understand and she wants to make sense.
And that Hannah,
Yes.
what is that? A momentum of habit? Or what is it actually?
This is what I would refer more to this part of questioning. So it's more connected to the mind.
Yeah, so you could say, so it's a thought. You know, what you call mind actually is just a thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I can, this part of the question, who am I, is put by the Hannah, the mind, the idea of I want to know, I want to achieve.
But that's not, that was not the intention of that question. The who am I is not an intellectual question.
Yes.
It's simply a question to bring the attention back to that which you cannot say what it is.
Yes.
That's its only function.
Yes.
It's not an intellectual question at all.
That's what I was going to say. There's one part that wants to know, but this is more the artificial layer.
Mm-hmm.
I can
And
see
even to call it a part, we just looked and saw that it's a thought. It's not even a part. It's simply a thought, not more. The only thing that there's a knowing is that you are. And that's it. End of story. Full stop. I rest my case. Yeah.
Mm.
So thoughts, you can feel like thoughts want to come. And at this moment, nothing's really interested in them. So let's play with a different question. Instead of who are you, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And answer from that recognition. Okay. How the hell did it happen that you pressed this link, Hannah? Look what happened.
I ran out of choices a couple of years ago, and then I pressed one of these buttons, and then this is what happens.
Yeah. Beauty.
So,
So, this is so beautiful. Yeah. Just exquisite, Hannah. Thanks for taking the time to inquire together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, beauty.
Isaac?
Hello, Isaac.
I think Judith was first. I was still changing over. So afterwards, Marie, you can have a chance.
Hi, Isaac.
Judith. Or what's called Judith.
Yes.
What a delight, eh? beyond time, beyond space, beyond the beyond of the beyond.
And in there, that beautiful frog. That is so precious to hear. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I see you. Can you see me?
Hello, Isaac.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, yes, I can see
Okay,
you now.
wonderful.
Wow. Isaac, I fell yesterday down the staircase, and now I feel a little bit damaged with my system,
Mm. Oh, yeah.
and already my leg has been not okay, and now it feels like I can stand only on one side.
Wow, yeah.
So I just would like to rest with you together, and also I want to thank you for the last session. And something felt afterwards more light and more independent. I already met my husband again, and it felt much more without any pressure.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
this was a big help.
Wonderful.
I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
It was just that something felt away afterwards.
Yes, exactly. And who knows, this falling down the stairs, who knows what it's good for? We don't know. Somehow that happened, yeah. And just to be gentle with allowing the body time to, it knows what to do, yeah.
Energy comes in the feet again. This
Mm.
feels
Beautiful. Yeah, you feel its body's coming alive. It's good because it's a shock to fall like that, you know. It is a shock.
yeah, really, it was.
Yeah, yeah. And it's nice to give space for that shock to just also release from the body, you know, because otherwise it sits in the nervous system. Like now it's starting to release. It's good. Yeah. Feel your feet, you can feel tingling. It's good. Good to know you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you. Bridget, we just about finished. I don't know if you're waving your hand or just playing, moving
I
something
just
on your
want to
phone.
say hi and be
Hi.
quiet.
Yeah.
If there's still time.
Yeah, we've come to the end of our time. Yeah.
Oh, it's time.
Yes.
Then I give my virtual hug to you, and I
Oh,
feel a lot of
beautiful.
love in my heart. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Oja.
Yeah.
Thank you all for showing up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sylvie, for hosting. Yeah. Beautiful.
This life is, this life is.
Wow. Thank you.